Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and lay up a resin blank for a pen that I'm going to turn for a friend of ours. And this is going to be white, gray, and yellow. So 3 colors that are a little difficult to get to mix together without them looking muddy. Okay, here we go. I think we're ready. We have the scale. We'll tear that out so that with the mixing cup on there, we're zeroed out. That's fine. I've got 2 other mixing cups, approximately 1 ounce in size, one for the gray, one for the yellow. We'll make up our white base in this one first. I've got the A ready, the B ready. I've got some paper towels. So, there's my 3, and here's how we pour them. We're going to start a little bit of white, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of gray, a little yellow on top of that, a little gray down here. We'll reach back for the white, a little more white. There's no rhyme or reason. It just either looks good or it doesn't. And it makes every one. The nice part about this is every pen blank that I make, and using this kind of a methodology, is 100% unique and original. I'm going to fill that right up to the top. There's the blank. I will tell you right now, it looks mostly yellow. But if you remember when we did the pour, we started off with yellow. So the very first color I poured in the bottom of the mold was yellow, and then we went ahead and layered it. So we really won't know what it looks like until we start trimming it down. So take this over the table saw. I'm going to run it on the table saw until I get 3/4 of an inch square. That's the size of the blank that I'm going to need. And then I'll go ahead and put some reference lines on it and cut it in half. And we'll get it ready to drill and insert the tube. So we'll come back and show you what that's like in a few minutes. Okay, so now it's time to take the blanks that we have cut to length and a hole drilled in the middle. And we're going to take a brass tube out of the pen kit, and we're going to glue it into the middle of that blank. Now, when you drill your blanks, you should make sure you always use the proper size drill bit as advertised in the kit for the pen maker that you are using. And ideally, if this hole is proper and clean, that tube will drop right through there. It should just drop right through there like that. I'm going to glue it in with CA, with Sienna acrylic glue. I'm going to use Type Bond medium. There's a million different videos out there of different people that do this different ways. This just happens to be the way I do it. It's worked really well for me over the years. I am going to use this wonderful little inexpensive swizzle stick to help me spread some of the glue around. And I'm going to have to move really quickly because this stuff does set up very fast in this resin. So. So I'll let that sit for a few minutes, let that cure, and then we'll be ready to trim off the ends and get them flush with the brass tubes. And then we can go over to the lathe and turn this and see what it's going to look like. Okay, so we're getting ready to turn this pen, and I would say to you that there are, as I haven't mentioned it before, there are probably a million videos on YouTube of how to turn pens, and I'm sure my process isn't better than anybody else's. Over the years, I have picked up a number of different tools, and I've learned to use them all. I've got some nice skew chisels. I've got some gouges, some fingernail gouges that work pretty well. I actually have a number of these more deep fluted bowl gouges, both small and large. And I have, over the years, picked up a set of smaller tools. This is actually, I think, originally sold as a pen maker set. And it's got a nice little, about a 3/4 inch chisel, small roughing gouge, another small gouge, and a parting tool. All of these will work. There isn't any rhyme or reason why any of these won't work. I could use this and do this whole piece with this skew chisel if I wanted to. I could certainly run it down with this roughing chisel. It's a little bit small on the edge. Many people believe the only way to turn something is with a skew chisel. I certainly can do that with a skew chisel. I can come right on there from the end with a skew chisel and I can get a nice cut. For me, I find my personal favorite for this plastic, not necessarily for wood, but for plastic, is to use a bowl gouge. Alright, those last couple passes have gotten that down to it's really smooth. The nice part about getting it down to this kind of a finish with the really super sharp bowl gouge and the and the super sharp scraper like that and or skew like that and the scraping action, I don't have a lot of sanding. Protect the bed of the lathe with a towel. We're going to go to wet sanding. Everything I'm going to use from here on out is wet, is the ability to use wet. I use these little sanding strips from Turnmaster. You can't hardly read sometimes what they are on the back, so a lot of times I will write on the back of them what they are. I happen to know that's 160. That's a little more than we want to go. That's 240. That's our starting point. That's 400. We need something in between, 320. So there's our 320, and that means that our other piece that's in here is 600. So this gets me 240, 320, 400, and 600. I've got 800, 1,000, and 1,500 in here. And then we'll go to the pads and take it all the way down to 12,000 and see what it looks like. So first we do 240. Okay, so this is how I finish a resin or plastic pen. I'm going to do 3-step finish to this. I'm going to start with one coat of thin cyanacrylic. In this case, it's going to be stick fast. I'm going to use a paper towel that I've wadded up. I try not to glue my finger to the paper towel. Not that I've ever done that before, at least not since yesterday. We'll turn the lathe on. Lowest setting. I put the CA on the towel and I make one pass. That's it. I'm not going to make any more, just the one. Let it sit for a minute. I will give it a shot of activator. Never hold the activator up here. You'll fry the CA that's on there and it'll blister and turn white. Always hold the activator away and just use a couple short little puffs. Let that sit for a second. You want to make sure that that first coat of CA is dry before we move on to the next step. You run your finger on it, it feels dry. Next step is going to be Triple E. Lots of different processes out there, lots of different products. Everybody uses a different one. This is mine. I like the Triple E. I get just for a pen, I get just a little bit on a rag. Right? Bring the lathe speed up a little bit, closer to 1,000. And I'm going to put one coat on it. And now you start to see we're getting a really nice shine off of those lights on that pen. Okay, final step in the assembly is going to be to put this pen together. This pen kit consists of the following parts. There's a cap, a ring for the middle, the nib for the end, the clip, the mechanism they call the transmission, which is really the part that pushes the pen in and out when you turn it, and of course the two pen halves that we turned earlier. So put this together. We decide which end of this pen we want to be the nib end and which end we want to be the top. And for me, I think I'm going to use this as the nib end. I'm going to put that in first. Goes in the smaller side. You push it in, hold it there for a second till you set the pin press. And once you get the pin press set, it's just literally a matter of compressing those until the pieces fit together, and it looks like that. The next piece is going to be to assemble the clip. To put the clip, you put the top cap through the hole in the clip on this one. Make sure you put it in the right end. It doesn't go in the large end, it goes in the small end. All right, you get that where you want it. A bit like holding 2 or 3 things together at one time. And a little bit of pressure. And I just watch those pieces go together and make sure they're lined up nice and snug. and that attaches the cap and captures the clip at the same time. So the last piece we need to do is put the transmission into the bottom part of the pen tube. Transmission goes in with the brass end in first, and this is a very delicate kind of operation. It is very, very easy to push that in way too far and the pen will not operate and you cannot get it back out. Trial and error over a period of time, I've got a pretty good feel for how far that needs to go in, but I always try it a couple times, so I always stop, take the pen refill, the ink refill, thread it into the piece, into the transmission, and thread it into the transmission all the way, and then check the pen to see if it works. So the pen point comes out. It could come out just a little bit further. What I'm most concerned with is, does it go in the proper amount? So this could be set just a fraction of an inch deeper, and this is very, very easy to overdo. And like I said, once you overdo it, there's no coming back. You've got to basically break the pen and break the parts to get them apart. So that's much better. I've got a little more reveal on the tip of the pen, and it still retracts. This piece is the ring that separates the two. It just pushes down over there, and then we push the top of the pen on there. And I always try to close and open the pen a couple times to make sure it works. And then I close the pen, and if there's an obvious grain match, there really isn't too much on here, I would twist that back and forth and try to get the grain to match when it's closed. But there's the pen. That's what the pen looks like in the finished configuration. We do have some gray, some white, and some yellow. So I think the customer is going to be really happy with this. Oh, and one final thing, I suppose. Does it right? Yes, it does. That's the pen we will be giving to our friend Callie from church. Hope you enjoyed it.